Especially in the summer, when you've got your kid 24/7, there's a lot of time to fill. A lot of, I'm bored, or let me go out and play. Well, one of the great little kind of tools that you can use to make it a rewarding experience for you and your kid, no magic pills, but something, is the question. And so on this edition of the Nemkos Do, and by the way, I'm Marty Nemko.
I'm Barbara Nemko.
We're going to demonstrate 10 questions that are interesting for asking your child. And for the first few, I'm going to be the kid. I'm going to be a pain in the butt kid so that I don't make it seem too easy, and she's going to be the parent. And then we'll switch. Hachi, come here, you. Who's the best doggy? Who's the best doggy? Oh, I think I need to get on the floor with the doggy. Can I? Oh, yeah, who's the best? Hachi.
So, Martin.
Yeah?
If we could do one thing that's special this summer, what would that be?
Go to Yankee Stadium. I want to go to Yankee Stadium.
That's a great idea. But Yankee Stadium is in New York, and we live in California.
Okay, I'll go to whatever stadium here. The A, I will go to.
So you want to see a baseball game? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
The Oakland Ballers. That's the new team, the Oakland Ballers. I want to go to the Oakland Ballers.
Okay, where do they play?
In Oakland, in like Oakland, like place.
In the Oakland Coliseum?
No,
I can
some
look
other
that
place.
up.
Raimondi Field is what it's called. Yeah.
Okay, we'll look that up. All
Okay.
right, that sounds like fun. Is there somebody you'd like to take with you?
Hachi, can I take Hachi to the?
I don't believe Hachi's allowed to attend a baseball game.
Can we really go to a baseball game? You don't want to make one of those promises and then you're going to say, no, we can't go.
Huh? I think that's very doable, assuming that the stadium is somewhere that...
Yay!
Not as far as New York.
It's not as far as
All
New
right,
York.
that's good.
Okay.
So I'm asking you if you want to bring a friend, and I have a question for you.
So Hachi can't come.
Hachi can't come. I know he's your best friend, but he can't come.
Okay, I want to bring David.
Okay, so why is David your best friend? What makes a good friend?
Well, most kids don't like me. David likes me. He doesn't. I'm kind of hyperactive, and he doesn't seem to mind. He likes me.
Is he hyperactive?
No, he's very calm. He's a very nice guy.
So,
Kid.
Why do you suppose other kids don't like your hyperactivity, and why David's okay with
Because everybody likes calm. I can't change myself, though. That's who I am.
it? Okay.
So can I change myself, Mommy?
I think if you wanted to try to do it, you could.
How could I start? What kind of a baby step could I take?
Well, you identified yourself as being hyperactive. So give me an example of when you're
talk fast. I interrupt. I'm always moving. I can't stand still. The teachers hate me because I can't sit still. The kids find me too much to take.
So what if instead of interrupting all the time, you decided to think about when you interrupt and only do it every other time?
I'll try to interrupt less, I guess. Okay.
It might be worth doing because it's important to have friends.
Hachi likes me. Hachi's my friend.
Hachi is the best friend anybody could ever have. No question about it.
Have you know your questions for me?
No.
Oh,
No.
Okay.
So
I want to go play.
In a little while.
Okay.
Just a few minutes. So what is the best thing that I do for you as your mother?
You make merry-go-rounds. You have a patch of cottage cheese in the middle, and then you put little cherry tomatoes around. That's the best thing about you, Mommy.
Oh, my. Okay. It doesn't even require cooking. So is there anything that I could do better?
You could listen to me. You're always doing 10 things at once, and I don't feel like I'm important to you.
Well, that's probably true. Not that you're not important to me, but that I'm probably doing 10 things at the same time.
I want you to pay attention to me. You pay attention to my sister.
Well, she asks for less attention. Suppose we designate certain times that we'll set aside for me to pay full attention to you, stop what I'm doing, but then you will understand that I can't just stop every time you talk to give you your full attention.
Okay.
All right, we have a deal. Yeah, one more question.
Okay.
If you could reread any book or rewatch any movie, what would it be?
I love the Hardy Boys.
Ah, the books, the series.
I got like 40 of them. I loved them. I would reread them. Even though they were simple, I liked because they was. I also loved the little book, The Giving Tree. When you used to, Mommy, I know I'm 10 already, but Could you read The Giving Tree again to me?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
And the Hardy Boys, when I was your age, I read all the Nancy Drew books. And in fact, I still have some. If you look carefully in the cabinet in the bedroom, you will see that I have several of those books.
What a good thing, and I'll stand up and get out of this thing. What a good thing to have a bond that where she said, I liked it too. The parent-child bond is, and parent-to-parent bond, adult-to-adult bond is about commonality. So, you know, her saying she read Nancy Drew made mother and son
We have something
closer.
that we can relate to each other about.
Anything else that you think is a takeaway from the way in which I played the kid and you played the mother?
Well, I just think that over the summer is a really good time to spend time talking with your child. Most of us are running around so busy during the year with school and lunches to prepare and getting to work and everything that you have to do. It's very, very hard to spend real quality time listening to your child. The car is a great place to talk to your child. When you're driving someplace, that's an opportunity where you're in a small space, and kids are more likely to open up in the car than they are in the house. I don't know whether it's because it feels protected or it feels more casual, but use travel time in the car as a great time to talk to your child about important things.
It's a good suggestion. I notice you use the word listen. Everybody wants to be heard. And
Sure.
so, you know, whether you're talking to your child or your parent or a friend or your lover, try to really listen, because just asking the question is only the starting place. Really listening opens the door to think of how much really the benefit of that interaction between mother and child came from the follow-ups, came from my answer and your following up. Okay, let us switch roles. I want to move the dog away now so that I can...
Good luck. I think he's very comfortable where
I'm
he
sorry
is.
you can't see the dog. He's right there between us. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This goes away now. Bye-bye, spinner hat. Okay. Now, you're not by nature going to as difficult a child, but
True.
Now, but I'm going to play the parent,
Okay.
and we could be as
Well,
you.
I think that I have one more question for you. What's something you like about yourself? You said you didn't like the fact that you're hyperactive, you interrupt, and therefore you don't have a lot of friends. What's something you like about yourself?
I would have said the same thing as an adult as a child. I like my intelligence. I can think on my feet. I am also, I use it, I am not mean. I am a benevolent person, and I'm proud of being smart. Most important, we don't like to talk about intelligence these days, but it is the thing that has helped me the most in my life. You asked me, so I gave you my honest
Good.
answer.
And is there anything you want to improve?
I would love to be less intense. I just can't. No, I can't. Try. In my journal, I tell myself, be less intense before I do everything, before I even come here. But I'm just who I am, you know? Okay. So now you're going to be the kid, a 10-year-old kid. Pretend like you just were when you were.
I don't have to pretend. I remember being a 10-year-old kid.
Okay. So let's see, where do I want to start with? I'm going to ask different questions so that my audience has different questions. What makes you happiest, my child, 10-year-old?
Playing with my friends.
Anything, be specific.
Well, I'm 10 now. I can't remember at what age we used to do this, but we used to play paper dolls. And we would buy these little books and cut out the clothes.
Not only you say you're 10, you say what you're doing now. You like taking the paper dolls and cutting them out.
I like cutting the paper dolls and then changing their clothes and making up stories about what they're doing and where they're going. And it's fun because paper dolls have some really fun outfits. And I don't have a lot of outfits, so I really enjoy that.
It's okay. Would you like to do that with me or just with your friends?
Nope.
Okay.
With my friends.
You say you don't have a lot of clothes. I was listening to you pretty carefully. If I could buy you one new piece of clothes, or maybe at a consignment store at a Goodwill, what would you like me to get you?
Don't I wish we had consignment stores when I was growing up? We never went to any stores that had clothes I really, really
You're 10.
liked.
You're staying in the role. What would you like me to get you?
I would like new shoes,
What kind of shoes?
pretty shoes, like patent leather Mary Jane shoes.
We're going to go to Goodwill together, and we're going to pick out a pair of shoes that you like. How's that? I know they're used,
want
but
new shoes.
we don't have much money. Well, we could try Walmart. We can go to Walmart.
Yeah, let's go to Walmart. Let's go now.
Okay, good. Right after dinner, we'll go out. We'll go out.
Thank you.
Okay. We're still in the role. I'm the parent now, and she's a child. I'm listening very carefully. 10-year-old. What makes you saddest?
When I don't get invited to something that my friends are invited
I
to.
could understand.
It's not fun.
Of course.
Or when one of my friends wants to play with another one of my friends, but they don't include me.
Notice I didn't. I let there be silence. So, is that just the way it is, or is there anything you need to do different or want to do differently to maybe be invited more or have other kids like you more?
I need to invite people more.
What would you like to invite them? So, to the follow-up question, what would you like to invite them to?
Could we invite them to lunch?
Yes. Where would you like to go to lunch here? Or?
Lunch here.
Great. What should we serve? Can you help me prepare it?
Yeah, hot dogs and beans.
It's not healthy, but what the heck?
Yeah,
Will you help
that'd
me?
be fun. Sure.
Can you open a can?
Oh, I'm very good at opening cans. I have a can opener.
Will you monitor to make sure the beans, when we're in the saucepan, they don't burn?
I will stir them.
And not burn.
Not burn.
Cool. Okay. What scares you?
That I'm going to get kidnapped. Remember when I was growing up?
You
They were kidnapped. People were kidnapped, and
say just to be 10 and say, I hear there are kids.
I'm scared. I see on television that a kid gets kidnapped, and I'm afraid somebody will come in and take me.
Do you know what you need to do so you don't get kidnapped?
Keep the doors and windows locked.
Not always. Anything can happen, but you really the chances get really low. And if you simply follow one rule, what's the rule about
I don't know.
Listen carefully, because this is important. If a stranger ever comes over and wants to grab you or take you, you
Run.
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 Don't let him even get that.
Run.
If your gut's saying this is scary, leave. And if needed, yell. And there's a rule: if you yell fire.
I know that. The teacher told us that in school. If something is happening, yell fire, because people won't come to help you, but they will come if they think there's danger to them.
You're not going to get kidnapped. Just follow that rule. You'll be fine. And you can keep your windows open. Don't worry about it. We don't need
They could climb up the fire escape.
We can't worry about things that are too low probability. Enjoy your life. Don't let that fear rule you. Okay, next question. More happy thing. What's the most enjoyable thing you've ever done?
Remember when they thought I had whooping cough?
Yeah.
And I couldn't go to school?
Yeah.
But I felt fine?
Yeah.
And so I couldn't go to school for a week. And every day you gave me $1 and I went to the candy store and everybody was in school and I went to the candy store and I bought an Nancy Drew book and I went to the park and I sat there and I read my book looking at the pond and the trees and reading my book and everybody else was in school. I loved that.
She is the superintendent of schools here in Napa, and her happiest moment as a child was when she didn't have to go to school.
I must admit, that is true. Snow days were also big on the happiness meter. But school, I think, was very different when I was in school.
Ha!
It was very different.
Ha!
We sat in rows and we folded our hands a lot. And
Well, you were good at that. You were a little church girl.
I was always very good at following the rules, and then we would have to read out loud in turn.
Ugh,
and that
boring.
was very long and slow, and until they got to my
Okay.
turn, I'd read ahead, and then I'd have to find my way back when it was close to me. So yeah,
Speaking
that
of
was
reading,
boring. Speaking of reading, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So it's the summer. And the one thing that we do worry about in the summer is that kids will get what we call summer slide. Their skills will go backwards because they're not practicing. So the Napa County Office of Education has a reading challenge for students in grades TK through grade 3. And you can get information about that on our website. Basically, you can download on any device the Footsteps to Brilliance app. And there are 4 activities, 4 units for each of the grade levels. And the students who do the most and complete all 4 activities will get prizes, and they will be invited to the board meeting at the Napa County Office of Education in September, and their teacher will be invited too, to be recognized for their hard work.
That's enough of a commercial. But it's ncoe.org. ncoe.org.
NapaCoe.org.
Sorry, napacoe.org. But as we sum up here, what do you want to, let's tell Hachi, come here. Hachi is the summary recipient. Come here. All right, I'll just get on the floor. You don't. But you can talk down to Hachi, and I'll be listening. What do you want to remember? What do you want our viewers to remember about asking questions during the summer and otherwise?
Well, the summer is a great time because it's a little bit more relaxed. So it's a wonderful time to get to know your child a little bit better. It's a great time to read together. We also have some activities to make math more fun for kids in the summer. So think about what you can do with your child that will both bring you closer together and help them to keep their skills up.
Yep. In the supermarket, as Barbara said, in the car, at home, at dinner, just whenever. Ask questions are magical. We all want to feel cared about. We want to feel heard. Ask questions that are a little probing, like the kind we demonstrated. Like, what do you like about yourself? Anything you want to improve? What do you like about where you live?
We didn't ask that one.
So what?
I would have said I loved that I lived in an apartment building because there were so many kids in the building, and we all used to go to school together and come home together. So there was a sort of this natural group of friends.
That's because you're social. Me, I would have been happy to be in a cabin. Anyway,
or a cage.
Other those questions: what makes you happiest? What makes you saddest? What scares you? What's the most enjoyable thing you've ever done? In any case, ask questions and then listen your butt off, because it's in the listening and the follow-up where the magic happens. In any case, I'm Marty Nemko.
And I'm Barbara Nemko.
And this is the Nemkos Do. See you next month.